5 teams, 37 points. 3 drivers, 3 points separating. Who will be champion of Season 4? Season 4 has consisted of 9 races so far, but the championship will go down to the last one. Hello everybody, warm welcome to you. It is the final time that SSRL and a Season 4 will be racing in 2024. And there are 3 drivers separated by 3 points. From your leader to third, it is Herman the German, Andy Andre, and Danger David. All fighting for that one spot. If one of them wins, the championship is theirs. But then, if we look at outside factors, if they don't find themselves on the top step, we're going to have to start looking at the points and see how the separation works from second all the way down to 15th. But also, the Constructors' Championship, 5 teams in that so far. We've got McLaren, Mercedes, Williams, Alpine, and even Red Bull, but with an outside chance. Let's go through your driver standings as of right now. So, as we've already explained, your top 3 has been accounted for, but Fellow Sun is in 4th, has already taken a win this season and has a couple of podiums to his name. Could he come and upset the apple cart for the top 3? We'll have to wait and see. There's Moksha in 5th there, going to try his best for the Red Bull outfit. He has got 98 points, but only 1 podium to his name. That was a second in Austria, as you can see. Energetic, 2 podiums to his name. He's in 6th, overtaking Pleasant Snake. Pleasant Snake has served his race bans, but has a qualifying ban and a 63-second penalty added onto his race time for several incidents in Austria. Daryl will be looking to ruin the party and at least try and score 10 points, so that should Thank you for 6th. I will double check the points in just a second. Then it's Race Chase in 9th place. We'll be looking to get a good result for his Red Bull team. Then it's Kovachka rounding out your top 10. From there on outside, Rush Siri, who had drama with Herman the German. It lasted a late lunge into turn 1 in Jeddah. Then cost Herman the title, giving it to Andy. Will something similar happen this time around? Then in 12th, it's Evo Truckster, who's now reserve. In 13th, Jolly Boy John 14th, who is not going to be with us, sadly, despite being one of the 2 drivers that locked out the top 2 with his teammate Enzo. We won't be seeing him until next season. Tabran, Toby, Enzo, Tarkangino, Quincy, and Wouter round out your 20 drivers that have taken part so far. Now we turn on to our constructors. Well, 5 teams, like I said, separated by 37 points. It could go any of which way. McLaren currently leads, but only by 2 points. Then it's Alpine, separated by 3 points. So a very similar situation in the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors for the top 3, but very different teams. Danger David and Herman there only being the facsimile in all of that. And DeAndre and Skid Solo in the Williams are there, but only by 11 points. Skid Solo, of course, has been one of the letdowns in that team, so he will need to pull his weight up this time around. Red Bull, of course, 5th, 37 points. It's a bit of an outsider's opportunity, if we're being honest with you. Then it's Aston Martin, who should be comfortably ahead of Ferrari by the time things all shake out. But they'll just have to be careful of the Racing Bulls, and that's Ferrari, that is, because if Rush, Siri, and Qual get their way up the field, that could spell trouble. Of course, we know Haas are probably not going to go any further, so it's really down to Evor and Quincy to try and race Sauber from that last position, at least secure 9th. Maybe they could go for 8th if the Racing Bulls have a bad day. But now the session is going to start, and we are going to have a full qualifying session. So it will be Q1 to Q3. I just need to mute a second, so I'll just be right back. Thank you very much there. Doesn't look like we've missed any running at all as of right now. The session just gets underway, so with 18 seconds. And Azam, hello! Welcome to the stream. It's very, very, very good to see you. Hope you're having a good Tuesday evening. And you are tuned in for what should be a very, very, very exciting finale. Because we have, as I've already gone through, 3 drivers. SSRL mentioned. SSRL, Silly Season Racing League, but there's also CSRL. Pardon me. But anyway, there's movement in the pit lane. It's for Moksha, but Daryl, in his usual fashion, is the first one out. Now, as I've already mentioned, Jolly Boy John is not going to be here, so that is why we are down to 19 for this week. But Daryl is going to get underway in Catalonia. Now, in a bit of background of Catalonia, it was opened in September of 1991 and held its debut GP that same year. The track in this configuration consists of 14 turns with a length of 4.657 kilometers, equaling to 2.894 miles, in case you need those. The race lap record held here is by Max Verstappen with a 1:16.330, which was done in the RB19 in 2023. It has been a permanent home of the Spanish Grand Prix since 1991, but there has been one consistent issue. Of course, the track has been used for testing in the past, so it's often criticised for being, you know, giving boring racing in real life. And also, with the cars becoming more aerodynamically reliant, it's meant that cars have had a hard time overtaking here. As well. So, of course, in 2007, I think it was, they added the final chicane, which only made overtaking worse to its critics. So, from 2023 onwards, we've had the long sweeping right-handers back ever since. And, well, yeah, I think the racing has speak for itself. But anyway, in this game, we have Daryl on his first fine lap, energetic, not too far behind. Hello to Sarah in the chat as well. Gonna first time I watched F1 IRL at Qatar. Thank you very much, Azam. I saw that in your Instagram stories. But anyway, Daryl now is just going through the first few turns. He's been through Renault, Repsol, and Seat. He's now coming through to Worth here, which is this snaky left and right. Very easy to get the rear end sliding there, as Daryl did there. So that'll be a challenge for him. Then it goes through Campsa. Long right-hander there, medium to high-speed corner, and then the second DRS zone on the track. Then this long left-hander, medium to slow speed in all reality, and then another long right-hander, medium to slow speed. Be careful on the throttle. It's very easy to lose it, as course Pleasant Stake retires, as he is serving a qualifying ban all the way back from Austria. And now through the final high-speed corners, both right-handers, it's a 1:13.698 to get proceedings underway. Now, in terms of Daryl's performance, what he always tries to do, as Quan is now disqualified from the session, and Energetic only able to do a 1:15.099 on softer compound of tyres, as Quan is now disqualified from the session, so for going the wrong way in the pit lane, as Evil goes up to the top. Moksha out with a 1:12.891, so time's coming in thick and fast. We have the Haas of Flip, so he's a reserve in that team on the soft tyres to begin with, and Andy Andre, of course, up the way up to second. It doesn't matter on grid positions, so you need to be outside of 16th to 19th. Now, of course, 2 positions are going to go to the wayside because of qualifying bans. So that means as long as you're not 17th or 16th, you will go through into the next session. As of right now, we have I think it's a V-carb coming across the line. That will be, well, it would have been of Quad, but I don't think it was. So somebody has improved there. That was, I don't think that was anybody. I think that was someone coming off a flying lap, so that might have been Toby. Don't think it was, though, but we'll stick with him as of right now, as Enzo has now joined. So that means Enzo was the one we were missing. I do apologise. Herman is one of them. So basically, it's not the standard F1 championship. So it's, of course, first place will get 25 points, second place gets 20 points, third place gets 18 points, fourth gets 15, fifth gets 12, and then from 6th to 15th position, it's 10 to 1 points. So not the standard F1 rules, but that way more people get a shot at scoring points, in the words of Quincy, and that's why he did that. But fellow son as well, who'll be looking to upset the apple cart a little bit. Of course, remember, drivers are going to be saving their tyres, so that is why you're seeing a few go out on medium runners. So the 3 drivers you want to look out for, in case if you just joined for the first time. And of course, hello everybody, well, welcome to F1 League Racing. And of course, if this is your first time, well, it's going to be very familiar apart from the race distance. It's a 50% race, but we have a championship in the running. So it is going to be Mercedes, Red Bull, Williams, McLaren, and another team I'm not thinking of, Alpine, who will be fighting for the constructors, all separated by 37 points. I will remind you of your standings once we've finished our 3 qualifying sessions, but it's Danger David, Herman, and Andy Andre fighting for the championship. So those are the 3 to keep an eye on. But in this first qualifying session, fellow son is up on a 13.411. He goes up into 6th place. Let's have a look at who else is on a lap. I do believe Tarkangino is finishing sadly invalidated lap. So now we'll go to Danger David. Of course, there'll be no delta. Oh, a bit slidey out of there. That's what we got to look out for. So Danger David already in a spot of bother early on in qualifying. So that will be a bit of a knock to the confidence, but he goes into the pits, and that's a set of soft tyres absolutely wasted. What will he do going forward? So no lap for Danger David, as Quincy comes across the line here, looking to get out of qualifying 1, up into 5th already, a 1:13.1, and that's ahead of Daryl and Race Chase, but he's on the softer compound of tyres by 3 laps, so he must have been invalidating every now and then. Tarkangino is going to have another bite of the cherry, as he's just coming through Campson now. Long right-handers there. Somebody's had a bit of a moment there. I didn't quite see who that was. It's one of the Alpines. So that's of Toby there, trying to get off the grass there. A bit squirrely. But Tarkangino just coming through now up to Sabadell. And here we go. We're going to see a time set from the Mercedes through these long right-handers. Let's go on board for this. Does he go foot to the floor? Let's have a listen. Might have been a slight lift there, but it's going to be a 1:13.757. And that will be good enough for 10th place at the moment, but of course several drivers still need to settle up as to Brand there, nearly going into the side of one of the drivers there, had a moment going through. It was worth. So again, that S corner is catching a couple of drivers out. Caught Daryl out not too long ago at the beginning of the session. Of course, one thing to look out for as well is Skid Solo is also on the lap. He'll be just looking to get out of qualifying one, but has got the first corner completely wrong. Of Elf nearly took the penalty lap loop there, so that was very unoptimistic. Well, very suboptimal for the Williams driver, as now he's just going to come through Renault. Now Repsol. But very wide there, not even close to the apex. Is he trying to do the NASCAR way of doing things, but not very effective in these cars, if we're being honest with you. It's not very smooth there. That might come on some quick. So who are the 3 drivers for the championship? It's the F1 point system. Never mind, says Azam. By the way, thank you to Azam and Sarah for being in here today, as Daryl now has jumped up into 6th place on medium tyres. That should just be enough to get him through. Both the Red Bulls are out on flyers as well. Moksha is up by 2/10, but now Tarkin Gino, I think it is, going to come across the line. Oh, in fact, no, it's Herman who's just started an outlap, but Tarkin Gino was off into the pit. So let's stay with Moksha for the time being. Coming round, New Holland as of right now, and it is going to be DRS Open, and that is an improvement of 0.09 of a second, keeps him 3rd place. What about his teammate? Has gone very slow through sector 1, so he's just gone and set a lap, and that was a 12.994. So I'm thinking they're pretty safe. Race Chase trying to save tyres, and look at that, you're seeing people go the length as Energetic up into 2nd there. Andy as well using the medium tyres, so very interesting information. Danger David has also just started to fly. Let's go on board with him. Herman's still on his outlap, but he's on medium tyres, so let's go on board with the Alpine driver. 3 points behind the leaders. Danger David sits 3rd, but if he wins this race, it doesn't matter where all the other drivers finish. There we go. It is now through. That is Repsol now coming up to Sayat, this slow left-hander here, and now on to the straight leading up to Worth, a slight loop with left-hander, then you sweep through here, then you sweep through the right. Just be careful on the throttle. And here we go now as we go through Campshire. He opens the 2nd DRS zone and now is approaching this long sweeping left-hander, medium speed corner, looking together so far from the Alpine driver. Oh, a bit squirrely on the exit there. Now through Sabanel, the long right-hander going uphill, and now you have more right-handers. It's downhill. Foot to the floor action here from Danger David, and this is going to be an important lap. Doesn't get it wrong like he did last lap. It's going to be a jump of up to 5th position for the Alpine driver, and that was important. Flip as well up into 7th place there in the Haas, and Daryl relegated down to 8th for the time being, but I think Herman the German will be the next car to watch. Very slow through Worth, and now coming up to Campshire. I think he's abandoned the lap. He certainly has. So the Mercedes driver, and well, had a bit of drama with Rush Nassiri this time. This time, Race Chase spun the first sector, so those tyres are cooked. Never mind, he was just letting people by. Ignore me. Apologies, chat, says Sarah. Well, no worries at all. Thank you for correcting yourself there. But there you go. Danger David already sorts himself as Daryl on 7 lap. Old Mediums improves his time like he's in race trim, and is now up into 6th place. I think that might be a genius move from Daryl, and he has more to give as the session will go through. But remember, chat, we were in a very similar position last time. That was between Andy Andre and Herman the German. But in the 2nd to last lap in Jeddah, Rush Nassiri, after the 3rd or 4th safety car restart, tries to go down the inside of 2 cars, takes out Herman, and that gave the championship to Andy Andre. So Andy Andre as well doesn't really want to be caught in that kind of situation again. But of course, I imagine David and Herman have done their practice. But at the moment, Herman with only a 118. But of course, that was a cool down lap from the Mercedes driver last time out, but now it looks like he's more serious as he goes through Campshire and is about to approach this left-hand sweeper. He's 5.5 seconds up on his personal best. So here we go through the long sweeping right-hander going uphill. The exit is a little blind, but there you go. He uses all of the track, so this is looking a lot better from him. And on the medium tyres, so he'll be saving a set for the race, of course. Remember, full qualifying session in place. It's a 1:12.6 from the Mercedes driver, and on medium tyres, that is an impressive time, and he is certainly looking like he has got this in the bag. He has done something behind the scenes, and he is looking to take the championship this time around, and it would be his second championship. He would interrupt Andy's current form. Andy looking to take his third championship in a row, and Danger David looking to take his first ever championship. We will look at the constructors later on, but it is currently Evor on top, and that would be enough to pip the V-Cobs if things stay as they are. McLaren in a little bit of an interesting situation. Fellow Son needs to find a bit of time and has 5 minutes to do so. But at the moment, in your drop zone, is Rush the Siri and Skid Solo. Tarkangino improves his time half a second up to 12th place for him. Enzo, who was second place last time out with his teammate Jolly Boy John, who's sadly not racing today, was qualified in second place last week, but sadly both Haas drivers losing 5 positions, so they ended up locking out 6th and 7th. So I sort of forgot young folks just mean a slow moving car. Happens to everybody. But yes, no, ignore the yellow flags. They don't mean anything. If you do see a driver just going full beans past a slow moving vehicle, it's perfectly okay. It is legal in this game. As we now see Rush the Siri, who of course caused the drama last time out, but invalidates the lap through Worth. So he'll have to go again, but his soft tyres are at least fresh. He'll allow the Haas driver back through, I would imagine, if a bit of drama there, but Enzo didn't look like he wanted to compute with that, so he held off for the time being. At the moment, it's Flip also on a lap. He's improving by 0.07 of a second, but look at that. Very squirrely out of capture there, so that's going to affect his momentum into this DRS zone. He'll have to try and find a way to pick it all back up, but it's still nearly 0.2 of a second, as Herman has now retired from the session. He feels he can't go any faster. Well, he doesn't really need to either. Remember, we'll have an... Oh, wow, the Haas there, losing the rear end there. Flip is pushing that car for all it's worth, but I don't think this is going to be an improvement. Here we go, though, and it is only 0.02 of a second of an improvement, but that's 8th place, so that's actually not bad. He should be okay, all things considered, but I think the knockout time is going to be, as long as you're in a low 1:13, you should be safe from there on out. So Quincy should be safe, but Tarkangino, I think, has gone for another lap. He indeed has. Only improving by 1/100th of a second. He's on 2-lap-old soft tyres, and you can tell how the car is twitching on the exit of Repsol through to Sayat. It's definitely on the edge there. The Mercedes driver just, of course, trying to bring home the constructors as well. So Tarkangino is probably giving it hell for leather in this final round. Remember, we've only had 10 rounds, no breaks. And from this one as whoa! Very wide there on the exit of Campshire, and that invalidates the lap, so that's going to be the end of his qualifying for the time being. But now Darrell is on a flyer as well. He's up by nearly, well, only 4 thousandths there in Sector 1, so not much of an improvement there yet again. And Darrell was moaning a couple of weeks ago how he just can't improve from the mediums to the softs recently. There have been a few updates to the game, so it is certainly interesting to see if that's maybe had any effect, but Darrell's strategy not quite playing out as effectively right now. And as of right now, Darrell now coming through Campshire. Let's see the improvement through the second sector as Fellow Son jumps to 4th, so all of a sudden McLaren looking good. He is down by over 1/10 on his personal best there, so even yet again the soft tyre proving to not be much different as oh wow, Darrell spins it out of, that is Sabadell there. He reverses off to try and let, oh no, I think he's beached. The car is beached. I have not seen that in forever. He has to reset to the track, and he does it safely. But that was a very interesting time. So it's Kovachka and Enzo that are in trouble. Rush the Siri as well is in the drop zone. He might not get out of this, you know. How old are his tyres? They're fresh, so he'll get another lap. But at the moment, it is crunch time for Enzo, Kovachka, and Quincy as well. Quincy not taking any risks. He's on an outlap as of right now and is on the second DRS zone as we speak. But Nasiri is going into the pits. Nasiri is out. And that's it. So it's Toby now who is going to be the deciding factor in all of this. But Nasiri won't go any further. And now Toby has it all to do. And Quincy in the background, they're going to try getting underway. there. He's on his outlap, but now we've got a few drivers that are in the, well, for the final time, are going to try and get out of qualifying one. Remember, let's see, remember that we owned the last qualifying session we had, which was, of course, the 3-session knockout format, was back in China 5 rounds ago. So Toby now looking to try and get out of qualifying one as Quincy retires from the session. So Quincy didn't feel the need to improve, but Enzo is also trying to improve. Up 4/10 in Sector 2. And now he's just approaching the final few corners. If he gets this lap improvement, I can't imagine that Toby will do enough to improve. So here we go. Enzo approaching the start-finish line. 4th place. He's safe. He is extremely safe. So Toby now, it's all up to you. It's only 1/100th of a second, 400ths of a second. It's not going to be enough. He needs to find something in Sector 3. As of right now, and Toby isn't quite doing enough. He needs to find more time. What has Sector 3 done for him as he comes around the final corner? He is not... I think he's just knocked out. I don't think he made it. No! 16th there. He found several hundredths. But it wasn't enough. So, we'll look at who we are saying goodbye to. It is going to be Toby, Nasiri, Skid Solo. That's not good for Williams in their Constructors Hunt. And, of course, the 2 Pleasant Lake serving a qualifying ban. Of course, he also has a 63-second penalty added onto his race time. Then Kwan, who got disqualified for going the wrong way in the pit lane. So, qualifying 1 is done. No real upset, but Tarkangino by nearly 4/10 finds his way through, but he'll be in trouble. And also the Red Bull as well of Race Chase will be looking to... it seems like Toby isn't even taking the last corners flat out, which is odd. Or the car just has an unrealistic amount of grip. It could be one or the other. Let me just have a sip of water. Just give me a minute. Chat, do you see that? It is a wet qualifying session. Q2 will take place in the wet. And that means tyre strategy is thrown out the window. So let's see what tyres. Hang on. Let's see what tyres are taken out on this session. At the moment, it's still the dry tyres, so everybody is going to be making their way out. This could be the make or break of qualifying, and already we see Evor. It is going to be really interesting all of a sudden as Evor makes his way out first. Daryl there, not too far behind. He won't be happy he was beaten out the pit lane. And DeAndre, though, on mediums? Forget it. Tuning in for an epic finale indeed, John. Hello there. Welcome to the show. I wish my throat... I wish my throat was slightly better. But that's all it is. But anyway, Evor is the first out, so a lot of drivers just trying to test the track and see what's going on. So let's see. Evor, as we said, leading the way, but now it is moist. So, as Sarah said, it's going to be in the wet. And it's going to be very interesting, that's for sure. Andy RJ, though, on medium tyres, they're not going to warm up quickly. So, Andy is going to have to do so much magic. Don't worry. But anyway, at the moment, it's Evor leading the way. So, here we go. Evor begins the flying lap, and this is... I think it's dried up, though. I think the rain has gone away. So the rain has gone away for the time being. It's held off for now. And Evor is going to start a lap. So here we go. Day to day. Well, everybody is starting a lap there. It's absolute chaos out in the pit lane. I'm just trying to gather my thoughts to see what's gonna happen. As Flip has retired, so... Flip has crashed in turn 1 And sadly won't be taking any further part. So he's going to be number 15 in the standings for qualifying 2. And it's, well, there you go. That's the end of his qualifying session. But that means the soft tire might not be optimal. You got to control them. Look how close the cars are all together. And now we're going to start seeing lap times come from. So Evil, first round the corner. Does he go flat? Look at that. All the rain there. Ooh, a bit unstable there on the exit. Here we go, though. It's a 1:15.0. Down with a 1:14.5. Bellow Sun with a 1:14.5 as well. And Herman as well. So the top 4 set 1:15s. Quincy with a 1:15.5. And that's one of the Red Bulls in the background. So they must have invalidated their lap. Let's have a look. So a few more cars towards the line. Fellow Sun, the Energetic, that'll be one to look out for. That must have been an invalidation as well, as Danger David sets a 1:30.3. More times coming in thick and fast. Daryl to the top. Fellow Sun to second. Herman in third place as well. Race Chase, though, still needing to set a lap. And that's a 1:16.0. That's a disappointing time from the Red Bull driver there. 1.5 seconds down. Moksha there doing the business for Red Bull. So Race Chase in trouble. But, well, Danger David in trouble in this early stage of qualifying. What about Energetic, though? I think he invalidated the time. So he doesn't get a time on the board right away. And right now, Energetic coming through capture again. Doesn't invalidate the time. And now, he's looking good. But I wanted to keep an eye on Danger David. Because remember, it is him going through the final few corners. And he is 3 points behind in third place. And as of right now, Fellow Sun retires from the session, so he feels there's going to be no further improvement. Hopefully he doesn't live to regret that. It's a 1:15.8 from Danger David. It's 10th place at Energetic. Well, Energetic and David are in trouble as Moksha now retires from the session as well. Race Chase is down to 12th. So he's going to be in a real knockout race. But as of right now, he's not improving either. But remember, he'll need to, of course, recharge the battery. As the session goes on, there's been an error into turn 1. Does it involve an Alpine? It certainly does. He keeps it pointing in the right direction. So that's all well and good. But where did someone has just done an improvement? So who was that across the line? It was Race Chase, but hasn't moved at all. So Race Chase is going to be the next to do a flyer. How are the conditions looking? It's still kind of light rain as of right now. And here we go. Into the final corner he goes. Into Repsol he goes. 3/10 down. And now it's coming into Sayat. It's not looking good. That rain is only getting heavier. And it looks like Race Chase we could be saying goodbye to. And Danger David is on the verge of getting knocked out as well. You can see how treacherous it is just going through Worth here, that left and right-hander. Now the right-hander here of Kamsha, and oh my god, you can just hear how much he has to lift. It is getting interesting, that's for sure. And then 1.8 seconds was in sector 2, and there's no time for sure. I think that is going to be all she said about that. And Danger David has had an error there through Kamsha, and he is in trouble as well. But what about Energetic? What can he do through this second qualifying session? And as of right now, he has to have a spin, apparently, and there you go, through! It was Renault, loses the rear end, and I think we have seen all we have possibly seen in this session. So that means Quincy and Tabran are the surprises in qualifying 2, and they will go through. Kavachka is also retired. Feels good. I'm sure it does. Pole position permanently for you. Stop the count, he would say, as Energetic there into the gravel. He is struggling, I think. Yeah, I don't think he's very happy with things as of right now. Is Quincy there on an outlap? Is he just trying to see for his teammate if the conditions have improved? But I think Energetic just needs to take his time because now he's got damage to the car. And should things improve with like 3 or 4 minutes to go, all of a sudden, Well, the complexion changes. Already we're seeing Race Chase and Enzo go out onto intermediate tire. Well, maybe have intermediate tires. I don't know, though. We're just going to see how things improve. But that rain is not letting up. Yeah, it's definitely too wet at this point to improve and say Tarkangino retires, and look at that, energetic, really struggling to try and get anywhere at all. And well, there you go. He actually has to take the old chicane layout to try and get through this, because he can't trust the car in a high downforce scenario. Just make sure you get it into the pit lane, my guy. And there you go, he does. As now Quincy into the wall in turn 1. And there you go. I think that kind of says all you need to know about the track conditions, because nobody's improving. In fact, drivers are now starting to retire. Energetic calls it a day. But will there be any improvement on the intermediate? Danger David is out on them as of right now. I think he's just having fun. Potentially, that is also true, as now he has retired from the session. So he will solidify 11th, unless if David can find an improvement. What's Quincy doing? Quincy just having a bit of fun with the conditions, I think. But it's also missing part of his, well, all of the right side of his ring. There, you can just see some of it, but ultimately that's going to be a hard time for the mechanics. But both kick Saubers into the 3rd qualifying session as of right now, however. You remember, as David's still trying to finish off his outlap, he just wants to, I think, just play it safe and try and find an improvement. But I don't think you're going to in these conditions. They're not dry, but they're not too wet either. But the rain will keep coming down for another, well, for the entirety of the session of 15 minutes. And here we go. So now the Alpine driver, well, it was a bit close to call in terms of 3rd qualifying. Because now there's a Haas there and looking the wrong way there. I think that's of Enzo there on his outlap, and it's crashed it almost immediately. And so we'll go and follow Danger David. I don't think he's going to improve, but of course we will soon see. I think the DRS was open as well. I didn't get a message from race control that that DRS was disabled. So I wonder if that's going to be interesting, as Quincy now retires as well. So he feels that's going to be the end of things as of right now. Imagine if all these drivers retire and then all of a sudden the track dries up. I don't think that's going to happen, but there we go. DRS disabled, so that means it is now officially a wet session. But this also means that Danger David did get that first helping of DRS down the start-finish straight, as now Herman also retires. So he's through into qualifying 3, no problem. But at the moment, it's going to be between Race Chase and Danger David. I don't think they're going to find any improvements. And there you go, sliding through. Capture is the Alpine at this point. Drivers are just scouting conditions of Q3 in case it stays like this. I would imagine so. And there you go, 3 seconds down. We're not going to see an improvement. So what's Race Chase up to? He's down 9/10 on his personal best coming through Capture. But yeah, no, I have to agree. As now the Haas driver of Enzo is... Oh, nearly going into the back of the Red Bull there. He is on the softer compound of tyres, but Race Chase does enough to avoid him. But I do think this is the end of the road for the Red Bull driver. His teammate up into 4th, as now Danger David retires from the session. He knows there's no further improvement, as does Race Chase into the bits. It's a bit of a free practice before the most important qualifying session. It certainly is, and Enzo as well into the pits, so I imagine we'll see retirements from all over. But Daryl there is still going to look for a lap on the intermediate. So I think he is just doing what Sarah is saying. A lot. Basically, a scouting lap just in case. There you go, 2 seconds down on his personal best. So yes, no improvement from him. But we don't expect that in these conditions. Driver started out with the dry tyres, took advantage of it. And there you go. They have benefited from this. Good and proper. But there we go. We are going to see... Well, we're going to see in the top 10... Daryl, Fellow Son, Herman, Moksha, Evo, Kovachka, and to our surprise, Quincy. He's having a really good qualifying. I think that's his best of the season. As of right now, at least I think it is. Do correct me if I am wrong, though. And RDRJ in 8th. 9th is Tabran. Danger David is in 10th. And, well, there's not going to be any further improvements. Don't think the track is drying out. No, it is not. So it will remain wet. Going into qualifying 3, I do believe. And what a session that would be. Qualifying in the wet as Daryl. Yeah, it's going to still complete a time. But let's see what happens. As yeah, and DeAndre as well, out on a lap. well, on an outlap, as is Tabran. So, yes, it is definitely a free practice session for 2.5 minutes here. But I think Daryl will have done what he needed to do and got the reference data that he needed. So, as of right now, if you're just joining us, well, hello to all of you. No real upsets to speak of as of right now. All three drivers that are contending for the championship. In fact, let's take this time to go through your standings one more time. So Herman is currently leading, but only by a point to Andy Andre. But then, of course, only 3 points behind is Danger David. So it's a top 3 battle for the Drivers' Championship here. And that's where we're going to be putting most of the attention on today. But also in the Constructors, it's a 5-way fight between McLaren, Mercedes, Alpine, Williams, and Red Bull, all separated by 37 points. But I think we're going to be looking at the top 4 more than anything. And the Williams duo is definitely on the back foot. Skid Solo wasn't able to get out of qualifying 1. But Toby and Danger David... no, Toby didn't get through qualifying 3. Didn't get through qualifying 1 either. So it really is the advantages with McLaren and Mercedes as of right now. So that's going to make things very interesting. So not sure how this is going to go, but I don't know who to predict, to be honest. And look at that. And just while we cut back to the race feed now, you can see how wet the track is. And look at that. It's just going to get worse. So I imagine this is the conditions for qualifying 3. And Neville has gone out on a lap as well. He's just coming out, so let's keep with Andy Andre for the time being. 1 minute to go in qualifying 2, but all positions are decided. So we are saying goodbye to Energetic, Race Chase, Enzo, Tarkangino, and Flip. Of course, Flip didn't actually set a lap. He went into turn 1, lost the car, and crashed it, unfortunately, so he never got the chance to set a time. He could have tried to out-qualify the full-time driver of Enzo there, but sadly won't get that chance, and Enzo won't get a chance to see qualifying 3 either, and that track condition is not improving. So there you go. A couple of drivers will be out on their final laps. Daryl there still looking to do some reference laps here, and then Evor as well. Again, also just doing some reference laps with 10 seconds to go. We are surely seeing the final laps from these drivers, which are Daryl, Evor, and Andy Andre. There you go. Daryl will be the first to cross the line. They'll have a total of 3 minutes to get there. But there you go, Daryl with a 1:24.555. Let's see who can beat that. Let's get an early... Well, we won't get Evor's representative. He was nearly in the gravel going through Europe car. And now through New Holland, a bit better there. Well, actually, it was just 2 tenths down there. So what can Andy Andre provide? As he's now just coming through into the second DRS zone. But then coming into this long sweeping left-hander. And then up to this uphill, long, medium speed right-hander. Sweeps through. And then, of course, on to the final couple of corners. It is going to be... Well, I think Andy's time is going to be... Oh, I was going to say it was going to be quick, but then all of a sudden Andy finds himself in the gravel, but still better than Daryl's time. It was a 1:24.555. That was a 1:23.9, but there you go. Andy Andre finishes up in 8th position. And now, let's have a look. So the top 10 of qualifying, well, we'll say goodbye to Energetic, Race Chase, Enzo, Tarkangino, and Flip. Of course, Flip was the only one to crash out. But more importantly, it's Daryl, Fellow Son, Herman, Boksha, Evil, Kovachka, Quincy, Andy, Tabran, and Danger David fighting from 10th to 1st in the final qualifying session in SSRL for 2024. Well, chat, it is time to put your predictions in. So, as we have that is a heavy rain qualifying. Who will be Master of the Wet? Fellow Son is King of the Wet from Season 3. But does that translate into Season 4? The qualifying gets underway. And it is going to be a test on the full Rets. Moksha is going on the intermediates, but... Well, we could have some drama here. This is exciting, says Sarah. It's nerve-wracking. I'm going to be real with you. I'm nervous as anything, and I think the admin is too, because now he's also involved with this. Quincy here, of course, the admin of SSRL, is going to be in this session as well. Pleasant Snake has joined back in, so he just decided to take some time out. And, of course, Daryl is going to be the first one to explore these conditions. The rain hasn't let up, and we have 12 minutes of a full wet qualifying session. My wheel decided to turn right only, says Flip. Wish I was racing inside. These conditions look class. They certainly do. It's going to be exciting, but the final qualifying session in SSRL for 2024 and the Season 4 as well is underway, and it's going to be important for either Andy, either David, or even Herman. We are currently seeing Daryl explore the conditions in Catalonia. Of course, all the drivers will have to follow suit at some point. But interestingly enough, we have Moksha on the intermediates. It's gonna be very interesting. Fellow son from pole gonna be Rain King, and you know what? That isn't a bad prediction, and that would upset the apple cart somewhat for the top three. And guess what? But that does good for McLaren's constructors' hopes. So remember, the maximum available points is 45 points. And don't forget, of course, fastest up with an extra point. So 46 points on offer for today. Red Bull would need a win. So Moksha's got to really bring the goods. And by being on the intermediates, which actually a few drivers have done, it is fellow son, Herman, Moksha, the Brown, Danger David, and Evor. They have to play this alternatively, but Daryl hasn't heeded the call, so he's just going through Sector 1 now. I don't know who the next comparison would be. That would be Danger David, so we would have a direct comparison on the conditions, and this is going to be an important qualifying, as we've already stated enough. I cannot state this enough. Daryl is the one just feeling out the conditions. And as of right now, it looks to be doing okay. We don't have any sort of PBs to compare it to. Remember, that delta on the top right only compares to your personal best. It doesn't compare to the session best. So do keep that in mind whenever you get data from it. Now, coming through through here, look at how slidey it is compared to what it was like in the dry. Even then, the Aston Martin wasn't all that comfortable in qualifying 1. Already riding the curb through here. So, as of right now, it's not looking too good for Daryl on this lap. Not very clean at all, although you wouldn't expect that. That's how he rides up on that, well, let's say AstroTurf or painted surface. Not going to be the grippiest, but I guess it's F1 24, and that doesn't matter all that much. But here we go now. 8 drivers on a flying lap, 8 drivers on a flying lap, 1 on an out lap, and another still in the pit lane. That's Andy Andre. I don't think that's a sensible move from the Williams driver, but it's Daryl across the line first. A 126, 348. Now, Danger David will be next. What is going to be his time? I think this is going to be quicker. It is! It's going to be quicker! It's a 124.8. The intermediates are the tyre to be on, unless if Evo has something in the traps, or maybe fellow son. He's going to be across the line. It's a 125.5. It's not enough. Moksha with a 125.9. Who's next? It's one of the Mercedes drivers. Herman was coming across the line, but has invalidated the lap. Andy is now on an out lap as well. So who's next? It is Daryl? No, it isn't. Can't be Daryl. It's Kovachka. I do apologise. Who's, well, invalidated the lap. Is it Quincy next across the line? It will be on full wet tyres. So here we go. As Herman now into the pits, Andy on an out lap as well. So 8 drivers still on a flyer. And Danger David up into pole with a 124.8 as well. But we've already seen that, I think, 126.9 for Quincy there. To Brown up into second with a 125.1. This is gonna be going down to the wire here. There's somebody else. There's Andy on an out lap. And there's Daryl not too far behind as well. He's down 3.9 seconds. So he'll just go out for another lap, I would imagine. And there we go. 7 minutes to go to decide first through 10th. Andy Andre starts his flying lap. Kovachka does the same. I think he's actually... Is he approaching? No, he's not approaching the start-finish line. He's just going through Worth right now because Moksha is going to be next across the line. I think... No, it's going to be fellow son, actually. So let's go to him first. Half a second, and that's up to second place already. Moksha will be next down nearly 1.5 seconds. It's no improvement for the Red Bull driver. Let's see what he can do next lap around. It's another Aston Martin to the line. It will be Kovachka, then followed by Evor, I think that is, or is it Quincy? No, that's Quincy there. So we're swapping. There you go. Evil NASCAR be like, says Anno, by the way, and that is to Flips. My wheel decided to turn right only. That's very unfortunate for him. Looking good on pace as well. But here we go. Kovachka will be next across the line. It's going to be a 1:26.983. And now Andy Andre will be next across the line. But I think the wet tyres were a mistake. The intermediates look like they're the tyre to be on. And look at that. You can see that here right now. Even Herman is still on those intermediates. But on an outlap, he's just going through Worth as we speak. So that little S section there before that long right-hander of Hampshire. But Andy Andre has just gone through Europe car. Now through to New Holland. The final corner on this exciting racetrack. He'll set a time. Oh my word! Andy Andre with a 1:24.5, and then Daryl comes across the line with a 1:24.8. Andy has flipped the script yet again, and he's now on top as things stand, and he would take the championship as things were right now. But fellow son with a 1:24.1, it's swapping more than I don't know whether I couldn't think of a good comparison. But at the moment now, as we have a yellow flag in sector 1 for a slow moving vehicle, it's changing as Herman is in the pits again. What is Herman doing? Herman, get a time on the board. You don't have any practice. What is going on with Herman and his indecisiveness here? It has been such... I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking here. What is going on? He was on the intermediates. I don't understand unless he got damage on the outlap. That's really the only reason why I would think he's in the pits at all. But fellow son, king of the wet again, and he's currently on top, but there's still time to go, remember. Don't forget that, as Andy RJ is 1.3 seconds down this one. Herman, stop choking. It's always that last part of the season for Herman. We saw it last season as well, although that last race wasn't his fault. You know who you are if you're in chat. As now Daryl improves up into the 1:24s as well. He's up into third, so Danger David with it all to do with 4 minutes to go. It's just... Why have I been given an invite? Oh, goodness me. But anyway, fellow son there with a 1:23.9. And that is all position for fellow son. And, well, that's an improvement of 2/10. So, fellow son finding the time in this qualifying session. And now Danger David is going to be on another flying lap. He's just losing the car there. He's trying to fight it. It wants to go left, but he wants to go right. He's trying to win the battle for control, as we see many drivers do in these wet conditions, especially on this game. I hope he did. That's for sure. But anyway, it's Danger David. At the moment, it's always squirrely through. That is Sayat there. That is not going to be a good look on his lap time. We'll see how he does through this medium speed corner. He's doing perfectly okay. He's catching up to one of the kick Salbers. In fact, both of them are on out laps as of right now. They get out of the way. We'll know who that was in just a second. That is Evor. Just trying to get out of the way. Yellow flag out for a slow moving vehicle. In 4th place, currently Danger David. He's close enough to Andy RJ, but Herman, no time at all, and I don't know what he's messing around at. He's just gone back onto the intermediates, so I'm not really sure what he's thinking. Is here, Danger David to the pits, as now fellow someone with a 1:23.2 has improved again, and Danger David goes into the pits. That might be it. As Moksha with a 1:23.9 as well. So it looks like intermediates are the way to go. Herman is finally on a flying lap, and this is important if he doesn't want the same thing to happen which happened last season. The championship was taken away. It was Herman's to have, but Russ Nassiri with an optimistic dive in Jeddah, who sadly made contact with Herman. And now Herman has made this season well, I would say he made it personal, but he has been on a comeback tour. To Bran is now up into second. The qualifying picture changes moment by moment. Daryl is still on those full wets. He's just gone through the final couple of corners. He's at Sabadell right now. One of the kick salvers is on the final corner. But we are looking at Herman, one of your championship contenders, and on his last flying lap in 2024 for qualifying. And it's the most important one of Season 4. He's got to get this right. 2 corners to go. Pit sliding on the exit. 1 corner to go. And that's sliding again, the understeer. That'll be the conditions. Here we go, though. It's a 122. 505. What a lap from the German driver. Who will respond in kind to that? Andy Andre is on a flying lap. Evor is also on a flying lap. Danger David on an out lap as well, but he's got to get a move on. He's only got 1 minute to go, and it's going to be very tight for him. But Andy is the next one we look at. And look at this. David made a fatal mistake, and that is Danger David. Not me, I hope. Herman, go get him, champ. What a lap from the Mercedes driver. I think Sarah is right. I think Danger David has left this too late. Although I say that, he is approaching the final few corners, so it'll be very tight indeed. But Herman, the German, leaves it late, but makes it great. And now, Andy Andre will be one of the last cross line. I think Danger David is going to make it. He will just make it by the skin of his teeth, but I want to keep an eye on Andy Andre. 10 seconds to go. Danger David makes it to the start-finish straight somehow, but Andy Andre, pole position for the Romanian driver, and now, Danger David, it's all down to you, buddy. Wow, he made it to the line, but now he's got to make it through. Are we going to see the top 3 drivers for the championship in the top 3 in qualifying? This is so important. Danger David started this evening 3 points down. Didn't catch what the improvement was there, or even if he's down. But he's got to find 2.7 seconds in this lap. Can he do it? We don't know for sure. But at the moment, Daryl also with a good time in full wets. 123.457. Therefore, gets across the line 6th there. We'll keep an eye out as qualifying updates. Quincy is actually just ahead of the Alpine driver. And what is David's time through Sector 2? He needs to find a massive improvement. 1.8 seconds. It's enough for a 1:23.0 as of right now. But of course, we need to combine the times together. So this isn't really going to be a comparison. We will soon see, though, as now we are approaching the final 2 corners. What's Quincy going to set? It is going to be any moment now, please. 4th place for Quincy. What a qualifying for him. But Danger David, pole position for that Scottish driver. But Andy as well is 15 seconds down. That means, unless if Daryl can find something, he won't. It's pole position for Danger David. What a lap. The championship order falls in reverse for the top 3. Wow! Poetry in motion. Scotland forever is in qualifying. This is amazing stuff. Danger David, pole position, and the dying embers of qualifying. What a season of racing we have been treated to, and what a full qualifying session that was. Oh, wow. Absolute cinema from SSRL. That is incredible. Wow. Take a bow. Danger David. What a lap. I thought Herman's was impressive, but then Andy Andre improves on that, and then Danger David. Wow. 0.05 of a second separate him from Andy Andre, and 3.5 separate him from the German. Moksha in 4th, Quincy in 5th, Fellow Sun 6th, Daryl stayed out on the full wets to set 1:23.4, Evor in 8th, to Brown 9th, and Kovachka unable to improve there and retired from the session in 10th there with a 1:26.983. That is one of the best qualifying sessions I've ever watched in league racing. German the German. I thought I said that a bit differently, but evidently not. I do apologize. But Wow, I am absolutely... Wow! What a... Oh, it's a try race as well! Oh my god, hang on. Chat, who is going to be your champion today? Is it going to be Herman? Is it going to be Andy? Or is it going to be David? Are we going to Scotland? Are we going to Germany? Or are we going to Romania in Season 4? Put your predictions in chat now. We have a classic setup. What an ending to the championship. This is going to be an exciting end to Season 4 and to 2024 as well. What a way to cap it all off. It's, oh my god, I can't wait. This is absolutely exciting stuff. It's incredible. There you go. Boy, about to lose his voice. Jelly Boy John just making a little comment about my commentary, and it's just a good comment. It's all positive, don't worry. Race Chase got kicked from the session or something like that, so a bit of session issues plaguing us right now. I think we do have a bit of time before we go racing, so yeah, we have about 3 minutes. I'm gonna take that time to just save my voice and just do a quick be right back. But I promise you, I am shaking. So see you in a few minutes, chat. Don't go anywhere, because Catalonia is about to serve absolute cinema. And as we're about to go underway, I just want to remind you one last time of your standings going into this race. So, first and foremost, welcome back. But in the standings, remember, Herman, Andy, Andre, and David separated by 33 points even, as now the team standings as well. Top 5 separated by 37 points. At the moment, though, let's focus on the race grid. It is currently David in pole position, looking to take the championship this time around. It will be his first. Andy Andre looking for his third in a row in this in this finale. Herman the German looking to try and snatch it away for his second championship, of course, was the winner in Season 1. Moksha just looking to try and fight for the Red Bull Constructors. He starts 4th. SSRL Quincy is one of the 2 Sauber drivers looking to lift Kick Sauber off of 10th position. Fellow Son as well, looking to bring home the Constructors for McLaren. He starts in 6th place. Let's have a look at the tyres as well. Top 6 at the moment, starting on mediums. Then it's Daryl, who's just looking to have a bit of fun here. He starts 7th. Emil, of course, he's in a Constructors fight. He's in 8th place in the Kick Sauber, looking to get them off of 10th. Then it's Tabran with the Ferrari in 9th. Kovachka in 10th in the Aston Martin. Energetic needs to make up places, as does Fellow Son if McLaren are looking to take it. Same situation for Race Chase. He starts on the softs. Enzo there, just having a bit of fun this race. He'll start 13th on the hards. Tark and Gino in 14th. 15th and 16th is Toby. It's Flip and Toby. They got disqualified, so they will start on cold tyres at the grid. And then it's Russell Siri, who we said goodbye to in qualifying 1, and Skid Solo. Of course, Skid Solo and Andy Andre try to bring home the Constructors for the Williams team, but Skid Solo needs to find positions. Surprise at Stake, who served a qualifying ban, is down in 19th, and Quad got disqualified for facing the wrong way in the pit lane. And as we now go through, remember, first and second are 25 points for first, 20 points for second. Bit of a mix-up coming up to the grid here. I need to go into 3rd place and try and observe the start from somebody. But here we go. For the last time this season, we're going to go racing. And now it is 3 drivers. Will it be David? Will it be Andy? Or will it be Herman as we have 5 red lights? It's going Catalonia. I think Andy got the better start there. Danger David was a bit squirrely on the exit. That's not going to be good. Harman to the inside. Andy up into the lead. Carbon fiber flying 3 wide into the first turn. Andy comes out ahead. Harman up into 2nd. David down to 3rd place already. There's been an incident with Race Chase. He's all the way down to 20th. Quad as well was involved. So Race Chase is currently stuck on the start-finish straight, and Quincy there was trying to make moves as Darrell up into 5th there, knocking the McLaren wide, and Fellow Son trying for the outside there, didn't quite work out. King Sauber trying to work himself out as Race Chase has left the session, so something went wrong there. Unfortunate for the Red Bull driver, but that might be them out of constructor contention. To Brown and Kovachka going side by side. Fellow Son still going side by side with Darrell there. There's the 2. Kick Sauber's trying to join in. There's the Mercedes of Herman right up nose to tail with the Williams of Andy Andre. Remember, 33 laps of this, and it's gonna be exciting. That's all I'm gonna say. As Evo has lost 8th place to Brown now. So, to Brown making a position. Let's see the biggest winners and losers. Of course, Race Chase down 8 positions. He's actually still in this race, but has let the AI take over. But look at this. In the background as well, we've seen Rusta Siri improve a few positions as well. And Enzo as well. Look at this. 3 wide into turn 1. We don't have DRS yet, remember. Enzo trying to hold on to the outside. He's on those harder cup as remember. Rusta Siri in the gravel. And as all that good work has come undone. And now he's nearly losing it through Renault there. Now coming into Repsol there. He's down to 17 to get him back where he started. That will be disappointing for the V-Cup, but he goes side by side with the Mercedes of Gino anyway, and trying to get that place back round the outside of Seat. Not going to work. The Mercedes will hold on to that, but now we cut to the lead of the race, and it's amazing that the 3 drivers who are in the top 3 of the championship, as now DRS is activated this lap around. I should say that for free as well. At the moment, the Constructors is all to play for as of right now. I don't quite know who's going to come out on top, so let's have a look at the Williams advantage so far. As now, well, Russell Siri and Tarkancino goes side by side again. But now we are going to start to see as Herman has taken the lead of the race there. So at the moment, he's on a roll to take the championship away from Danger David and Andy Andre. Of course, Herman, the German driver here. But what will Andy do as David there just decides to slot him behind? Doesn't want to make too desperate of a move. Remember, he started in pole. It's now Fellow Son is trying to make his way around. What a move that was! Danger David has lost out big time actually through turn 1. Don't know what happened to him, but now it goes from bad to worse from the Alpine driver. It's now Moksha is having a mare as well. So I think that means McLaren are in the hunt right now for the constructors, but Energetic really just needs to make up a few positions just to be secure. So from 3rd to 11th, that is a total of that is 23 points, and that would be enough to secure McLaren, the constructors at the very least. So McLaren having a good race so far, but Energetic needs to just put in that little bit of work. Quincy as well is actually in this battle for the lead, which is separated by 7 cars. Good start. Well, not a good start from him. He was actually 5th before the race began, but unfortunately for him, as now we have a caution in Sector 2. Who is that for? That is for Quan, I believe. It most certainly was, as our race chase, I think, has tried to join us back. But there you go, Quincy now making moves. Follows some of the fastest lap at 1:49. Moksha's had a moment, though. Moksha into the pit lane. He's missing a part of his front wing, as now Herman and Andy swap positions for the DRS. And now Danger David has fallen even further behind from the championship contenders. He was in pole and is now down to 5th. It is getting worse and worse, but there's been an incident in turn 1 between Rush the Siri and Tarkin Gino. Oh my word! The Constructors' Championship definitely goes to McLaren as of right now. What about Gino? He's now underway. A bit of drama between him and Rush the Siri. Race Chase is back in the race, but he'll be so unhappy when he sees the gaps that he's got to make up. And as of right now, Danger David, half a second there, gets DRS, but I think he's down on straight line speed, so this is becoming a rather unfortunate turn of events for the championship contender and the Alpine driver. And I imagine those tyres are a bit beyond their best, so that's not going to be helping the Alpine driver any one bit. But look at this, it is a replay of last season. It is Herman and Andy fighting for the win. And of course, Herman does need to do his best to stay within DRS of the driver in front, but Daryl is not really helping himself, as now fellow son there. So now, oh, Danger David now looking to make a move down the inside into turn 1, but Daryl finds out there's a bit of contact with the Alpine driver. Oh no, it gets much worse for him, as now Energetic is up into 9th place himself. So that is a good few more points for the constructors. That's now 25 points McLaren will take away. So the higher Energetic goes, the better this gets for the team McLaren. And now the Energetic is looking at Evil and Tabran in front, and those will be in port positions. But look at this, Danger David being held up by Daryl. It's not looking good at the moment, but fellow son doing all he needs to do for the constructors. Quad with a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. And at the moment, Daryl now really starting to fall behind here, and David will be getting frustrated. He's now got to think of the strategy and see what he can do there. He doesn't want to pit in so early. He gets involved in traffic, but he also doesn't want to pit too late. So I think Danger David's next focus is going to be with the strategy call, but also he does well in these second stints usually, as now we're going to surely see a change for the lead. That's Herman to the inside of Andy Andre there, and that was as academic as you like. But what about David and Daryl? Is that going to reignite? No, not for the time being. But also Kavachka was looking like he was going to get mugged by Enzo there, but didn't quite work out there. Race Chase as well, currently catching up to his teammate. A nightmare round for the Red Bulls so far. They are down to 18th and 19th due to a couple of moments there. Of course, Moksha had to come into the pits there, as now we have a yellow flag for Skid Solo there, down in 20th. Williams will, at the moment, lose out on the Constructors' Championship, and Skid Solo really not doing any favours for that team as of right now, and Daryl not doing any favours for David. And I think David is finally having enough. He's recharging through here, but once they get through to the second DRS zone, I think he will try and have a go. Now make that 3 seconds. The frustration continues for the championship contender. I thought, oh, as Quincy there getting it a little wrong through the long right-hander there, loses the rear end. Is he vulnerable to his teammate behind? A little bit. It's now down to 9/10 of a second for Quincy in 6th. But now, Danger David onto the start-finish straight. He's surely going to get this moved on. He's the closest he's been for quite a while, as Race Chase is struggling with connection issues, and that is Danger David to the inside. But also, fellow son was looking at a move there. But more importantly, David gets through, and he's calmed himself down, got into a rhythm, and now with 3.4 seconds to find, he should get that gap down in theory, as his pace has been good all evening. Let's see what happens. But usually David has, well, in qualifying, he left it late, but made it great, and maybe we're going to see something like that here, although I think just for his nerves and maybe for his mental health, maybe he doesn't want to do that all over again. But remember what a lap that was from the Alpine driver in qualifying, as now Evel finds a way past his teammates. The Kick Sauber's running 6th and 7th as of right now. Quincy running one of his best qualifyings, and look at that, it is line astern, but what is that, 6th to 13th? That is impressive stuff. Catalonia providing some great racing, as now Quincy's going to go around the outside of his teammate. Actually, his teammate letting him through there, so nice teamwork there from the Kick Saubers, as now Tabran finds a way through. Energetic up into 8th there, but now we are seeing Kovachka and Enzo go side by side with one another for 10th, and Enzo has a spin on the exit of Sabadell. So that means that even Pleasant Stake is involved with this battle, but remember, due to his activities in Austria, Pleasant Stake has a 63-second penalty to serve at the end of the race as Daryl gets his way back through. And I think Daryl and David are trying to work together, but I think David does have the slightly better cornering speed as well. Ooh, look at that, Quincy there. A bit dicey there on the exit of the first couple of turns. Pleasant Stake up into 10th, but remember, he's the outlier in all of this. He is not going to finish there for as long as he lives. Now, I think we were seeing Energetic try and make a move there for 8th place on the Ferrari, but didn't quite work out there. So, Energetic will have to just stay in 9th for the time being, but we are going to go to the battle for the lead. And at the moment, Herman is still there in that lead for the race, and there's a lot of good, clean action, more importantly, between the entire field. And I'm trying to switch between it's just so hard to call as of right now. It is nerve-wracking if you're a McLaren fan. If you're a McLaren fan, we have a caution in Sector 2. Who is that for? It is for the Ferrari of Pleasant Stake there as we go 3 wide. There's Toby in the background as well, getting involved in all of this. But I don't think it has anything to do with it. As now, well, look at Energetic. He's lost 3.7 seconds to the cars in front. So I think Energetic had a moment there, which is rather unfortunate. And now we are seeing drivers into the pit lane. That might be due to wing damage. Enzo now, well, they're going to make it 3 wide into turn 1 with an Aston Martin of Kovachka. Enzo to the inside. Energetic losing a position here. That is not what McLaren would have wanted when they started this evening. Andy is currently in the lead as well, but this is going to be a bit of a nightmare scenario because now Andy is in the lead and Skid Solo just needs to get some points on the board. Won't be enough to knock McLaren off of the Constructors' Championship, but it's certainly going to do damage. But remember, Tark and Gino as well is trying to battle on as well. I don't know if they'll actually pit McLaren at this stage of the race, and that is only because of Tark and Gino. So we need to keep an eye on the second drivers there. So if you keep an eye on Tark and Gino and Energetic, whoever finishes ahead will confirm the constructors for their relevant teams. So this is exciting stuff up and down the field. Danger David hasn't totally lost touch with the top 3, but oh, look at this. The undercut begins. Danger David first to the pits. Oh, wow, losing the front end there as he goes in. But there you go, a couple of nervy moments as now Herman and Andy go side by side for the lead of the race. And at the moment, it's Andy holding on to it, but Fellow Son will also want to get involved. Here we go, into Repsol we go from Renault, and it just remains as it was for the time being. As we have a caution center 1. Tabran is out! Tabran is crashed! Safety car! Safety car deployed, and Danger David is still in the pits and allows the V-Carb some room. But Danger David is caught. Oh! But Danger David, that is a nightmare. A safety car is called at the worst possible moment. And now he is going to be looking at possibly doing another stop. And that is just going from bad to worse. And he is trying to get the V-Carb to hurry up, but I think the V-Carb's just following the delta that he's being given. I think David might have more to give. Look at the frustration in the way the car is being weaved out. And there we go, as we thought, the top 3 into the pits. Does David have enough to try and hurry up? I don't know. They're just approaching, I think. They're just approaching Sabadell now. But of course, they'll be in the pit lane once this is all good. So we need to keep an eye on where Danger David is. He's up into 11th and has been allowed to go. But can he get out? Well, how far ahead can he be? I don't think he's going to be that far ahead, to be honest with you. He's going to put the foot down now, I would imagine, as Quan gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. So yeah, David will jump a few positions. That's good news for David. And he's basically reset back to where he was. And now let's have a look at the tyres as of right now. And yes, the top 6 on hard tyres. Danger David doesn't lose all that much in the end. If anything, that safety car might have been a blessing in disguise. He's back with the action now, so David is given a new lease of life. And as of right now, Andy and Herman, well, they just kind of reset from where they are. So we shouldn't have another pit stop. Enzo will be the exception to the rule, though. So it looks like starting on those medium tyres was a good call if you, of course, are a strategist in your brain. So I think they should just give themselves strategist of the day for that. But anyway, Enzo now with it all to do, because he'll definitely have to make another pit stop. So those mediums definitely won't go to the end, considering the average tyre life. But also, we could be seeing another safety car, so don't bank on this being all done and dusted just yet. We are waiting for what I believe is from 12th to 19th to join us as Evil and Energetic swap positions very briefly onto safety car periods, but that's perfectly normal. So now, well, Sarah, you can start judging those safety car starts again, and I'm sure you'd be happy to give your input, but this has been an excellent race so far, an absolute classic in SSRL history, and Danger David is given, well, a second chance, but Quincy as well will be very happy with where things stand as well. But Enzo, of course, he'll just have to try and ignore that, but Danger David does need to find a way past Daryl sooner rather than later. We are now just waiting for, what is it, Race Chase, Quan, and Skid Cell. Of course, Quan with the drive-through penalty. You cannot serve those under safety car, so you've got to come into the pits and try to serve it. Well, you've got to come into the pits once the safety car has expired, and then that will come off of your penalty total. But from here to the end, no further pit stops required, and it's still 3 drivers who are within the top 5. An exciting race is sure to come. Don't go anywhere for these next 21 laps. As of right now, Andy Andre leading the way. He will take the championship as things stand right now. But I do just have a feeling we have got another page to turn before this round is all over. I just had that feeling within me today as I was thinking about this and thinking what I was going to say when the stream begun. But it's looking like the story, well, it's still not over yet, and all 3 drivers are still within this fight as of right now. But Daryl was a real cork in the bottle to Danger David for those first few laps. So it is imperative that the Alpine driver gets past. But also in terms of your Constructors' Championship, it is going the way of McLaren so far. You need to keep an eye on Tarkangino and Energetic if you're comparing to Herman and Fellow Son. It doesn't, well, it won't truly matter where they finish. But here we go, Andy Andre slowing things right down, and he will be the one to lead the pack from the safety car restart. We will go quiet and let's let Andy Andre dictate the audio. And there he goes, but that wasn't really the best restart in the world. I don't think that was optimal, because now we are going to see the top 5 all together. Look at the start Daryl got. Look at the start Fellow Son got. He's looking to the inside, but Daryl around the outside, and he's got that done. What a move from Daryl in the Aston Martin. Race, Quincy's had a moment. Quincy has had a moment into turn 1. Quan now serving his drive-through, but it wasn't a drive-through. He went into his pit box, so he won't be happy about that. Kavachka round the inside of Toby. As now on, Kavachka having a bit of a moment. Moksha up into 9th on flip. I wish we were getting better angles than this, but now Toby and Rustasiri going side by side. Toby is now within this fight as well, so that means consider Alpine. don't forget them. But Danger David wasn't able to make good of the restart there, and now is Evil behind him. Look at the gap. It's half a second, and that could mean everything in the grand scheme of things. He's just got to keep up with this fight. But at the moment, Andy and Herman stay where they are, as David was a bit squirrely on the exit there. This is costing him time and time as the race goes on. As now, look at Enzo trying to go around the outside as he gets a 3-second penalty for trying to do that. They bang wheels, I believe. Let's go to Enzo, but I think he's got that done. That was actually kind of impressive as Rush the Siri with a 3-second penalty for track limits. Brief yellow flag there in centre 3, but no dice as of right now. As now Herman looking to the inside of his championship contender, can't get that done, and now it all resets to as it was. There's a lot of drama going on. It's now another 3-second penalty for Enzo there. Toby and Targacino have started fighting. There are fights for the championship everywhere you look. This is exciting stuff. And as of right now, look at Danger David. He is dropping back. He needs to kind of get the hurry up on so that he can stay within DRS to these 4. But he was a bit right there through Sayat. And well, we've lost a bit of momentum there, but looks like he's done just enough to stay within the detection zone, and that's what he needed to do. So he's going to stay within this fight for another lap or so. There you go. That rear rig should open. It does, but look at Enzo looking very threatening with those. Oh, as Toby's out. Safety car number 2. Safety car number 2. And Alpine. Well, someone just went wide there. I don't know what happened. Was that Quincy again? Someone just went wide. Out of Campshire. I don't know what happened. Wow. But Toby is out, and that means Alpine won't take the constructors unless if drama happens. But safety car number 2 is out. And again, we will reset. And I would imagine now that there's no need for further pit stops as Moksha and Race Chase. Well, Race Chase is making positions. Moksha is not. He's had to go into the pits again. He's down 11 positions. So now, all of a sudden, with Toby going out in the Alpine, let's have a look at where things stand in the constructors. Quincy. Let's have a look. Let's see. Well, Alpine were in this, but yeah, well, Alpine, well, they could still win this. I'm sorry about that. But it's very unlikely. Danger David would need to win, but even then, he would need other drivers to have mares, and that would be Fellow Sun and Energetic, or at least one of the others. It's not very likely that's going to happen, to be honest with you. So I wouldn't deem Alpine in with a shot, even if Danger David does take the win. He would need a difference of 3 points, and of course, remember, he would also need to take fastest lap of the race, and I think he's going to be thinking about his own championship. And at the moment, how that isn't really off to the best of starts in this final round. So, just in case if you've just joined us, you've joined us for our second safety car period. And a couple of, well, few drivers in the back there have gone on to the medium tyres. And Red Bull, well, who were looking out this, might still gain a few positions. But of course, all of the big players there are in front. So I think Red Bull are very much going to remain 5th as of right now. And Aston Martin as well are going to remain where they are, and it's been good work from Daryl so far. Kavachka all the way down to 17th place. I don't know which way this is going to be. Quincy to be a dark horse here says, well, earlier on says Jolly Boy John, but unfortunately it's not worked out that way. Quincy now down to 13th, but well, I say that, down to 13th. He's still having a decent race. But now, I think we're just waiting for Quad to catch up, and we should be going by lap 17 out of 33. We'll have 17 laps to go, so we approach the halfway point of the Grand Prix underneath our second safety car period. And at the moment, it's still looking like Andy will take the championship if things remain as they are. But this is SSRL. Things never stay as they are. Danger David is also looking a bit worrisome there. He can't quite get the tyres to a working degree. And he's having to, like, you know, do these slight corrections through these long sweeping left-handers, right-handers, where it's medium speed. That's where David is struggling as of right now. We didn't really see that in qualifying. So, worrying times for the Alpine driver, but he's not out of it yet, and anything could happen. I imagine we will go racing again, and it will be Andy Andre to lead the pack away once the safety car has been called in, which should be this lap around. So once we get to the start-finish line, we'll have to go through the 2-lap process of activating DRS again, and then it will be, hopefully, to the end without drama. Safety car is called in this lap, so we are going to slow things down. We're going to go on board with Andy RJ again, and he's going to guide us through this restart once the safety car has peeled into the pit lane. And no, he didn't go. And now he goes just on the exit of the final corner of New Holland. So now, has he got a better start this time around? Looks like it. He's got a bit of a gap to Herman. But now, fellow son of Darrell are going side by side again like they did on the last restart. And it's fellow son who will win out on that one. Half a second back. And now, look at this. Been a bit of swapping in the midfield. It's going to be Pleasant, well, NSS Energetic on stake as of right now, round the outside of Renault. Who's it going to be on the exit? As now, Danger David really defending there in the foreground. Look at that, the McLaren round the outside of the Ferrari. Can he get that done? Just about, but he's going to have the inside for Seat, but the Ferrari is still there, and the Ferrari wins out. What a move from the Ferrari, but there's Emil there, who's concertining the Ferrari back into the McLaren, but they won't go side by side through Worth there, so that's all said and done. But Danger David loses another position, and it's all not going well at all. It's in for Haas there, onto the gravel on the exit of Hampshire, but he'll be vulnerable as they go. There's Emil trying to make positions, and look at this, the Ferrari, on Pleasant Sake, round the outside of just about everybody, up into 7th position. This is great stuff from the Tifosi driver, and absolutely a great send-off if he's not to keep this seat or even stay this season. It's now Moksha up into 11th as well, so Moksha here being the dark horse of everything. There's a King Sauber in the gravel of Emil there, so now that means DRS is activated and chaos has ensued, and Worcester Siri up into 8th, but he has a penalty. Remember that at the very least. But as of right now, Danger David down 1.2 seconds even to the top 4. It's been another nightmare start for the Alpine driver, and it's just going from bad to worse as the race goes on. Now Moksha has overtaken Energetic, and all of a sudden the Red Bull camp are getting a bit of hope in their system, because Moksha is tearing through the field and Danger David needs to make progress now. Essentially, he's 1.8 seconds behind the top 4. He can't afford to work with anybody else. He's got the downforce, I think, in the corners, but he's just needing to control his right foot there. He's getting desperate, and look at that, 2.2 seconds lost already. And he's, oh, Jesus, and David is just not doing well at all. But look at Moksha, look at the momentum he has out the corner as Kovachka and Evil are swapping positions. I think Evil's had another moment there, and that's allowed Tarkan Gino and Kovachka up into 13th and 14th respectively. But now Moksha is about to have a go at the V-carb of Rushdie Siri in front. As if you remember, Rushdie Siri had a moment. Evil into the pit, so he might have damage to his car. So that's another pit stop we've seen. As now, look at this, the V-carb of Rushdie Siri, however, has insane straight line speed, but on the brakes, it's the Red Bull into turn 1, through turn 2. It is Moksha up into 8th position, and that is some good racing from the Red Bull driver. As of right now, though, Enzo has overtaken David yet again, but Pleasant Sake nowhere to be seen in that battle as of right now. As now, everyone has retired from the session, but that's in the pit lane, so we won't see a safety car. So what was 18 now becomes 17, and we did have 20 to begin with. But of course, crashes from Toby and Tabran brought out the 2 safety cars, and now it has set us up for a great finale. But Danger David has seemingly lost that advantage he had at the start. He started on pole, remember, and he's just been dropping down ever since. Darrell now has lost DRS with the top 3, so it's starting to look like it is the top 2 of Herman the German and Andy Andre fighting for the championship. What can David do? He's got to hope for a late safety car, and that is not unlikely considering what we are seeing right now. And Andy actually losing out a bit of ground there through the final sector, catches it all up, but into turn 1, don't think he's going to make that move. He's not that silly. We have a brief caution in sector 1 for a parked up Kick Sauber, but it's not going to really do anything. Moksha up into 7th down is catching Danger David as well. His race has been an absolute nightmare so far. And, well, Danger David just needs something to happen sooner rather than later. And Moksha even improving on his personal best by a couple of attempts. That Red Bull is chopping its way through the traffic. And if he, well, he could try and maybe pip the Williams. Skid Solo still not in a points-paying position and has penalties to serve as well. 3-second track limit penalty is all that he's got to his total, but it would just be nice if Skid Solo could just get a point here and try to at least help out Andy Andre in some way. And speaking of, well, the top 4 are line astern yet again, but 3 seconds back to Enzo as David has had a moment again. And that is through, I'm not going to try and pronounce the name, but it's that long sweeping left-hander after the second DRS zone, and Moksha is now right up there. So a bit of understeer on the car from David, and all of a sudden, it's going from bad to worse for the Alpine driver. He has DRS still somehow. He's very lucky to have just that, as now Andy Andre to the lead of the race in the background. But Danger David is still in trouble. But look at this. Rush the Siri there to the inside of the Haas driver of Flip. Flip still goes side by side through turn 2, but it will be Rush the Siri with the momentum. And he is up into 9th place. So, as of right now, it looks like with 13 laps to go, it is going to be very tense indeed. It's not easy for anybody to watch. If you're a constructor, you're looking at McLaren right now. They are going to be scoring, as of right now, 23 points, and that would be enough to keep them ahead of Mercedes and Alpine in the constructors. Of course, Alpine have lost one of their drivers as well, so they're going to be very much out of this. But Danger David at the moment hasn't had the race that he would have hoped for, and now he's got a charging Red Bull coming up. We have a caution in sector 2, which was short-lived, so I imagine that was just a quick off-track there from either Skid Solo or Kwan. But now, as we go through Europe car into New Holland, Danger David is going to have a crack at the Haas in front, and also we're going to see a change for the lead of the race. That is Herman the German up into 1st place. Fellow Son still decided to stay put, but as of right now, Danger David to the inside of the Haas, and is that going to be the move of the race? We'll soon find out. Stay with us for these next 12 laps. 4 seconds as Evil leaves the session. He's, of course, already retired, so which means at the moment I don't think Kick Sauber are going to score enough points, considering Rush the Siri is also up there for him. So, as of right now, it looks like the V-Carb, as they go, Danger David still struggling with understeer, even through Sayat. You saw it through there. But as of right now as well, he's also got Moksha to worry about as well. But 3.4 seconds has been gained, so it's gone from 4 seconds to 3.4. But that DRS is really powerful through here, so he's just going to have to be careful as he comes through this long left-hander. Keeps it there for the time being, and that gap is going down. So it's definitely the Haas and the Haas definitely constricting David here. He's gaining time on the cars in front, but it's just not going to be enough, I don't think, but he's trying everything he can. It's now 3.1 seconds, and he will probably start to lose out to the cars behind him. And there you go, he just kind of slots in, but there you go, he's going to see a Red Bull as well. He was like, hang on a minute, that wasn't in the plan. And there you go, Moksha up into 6th officially now. Enzo defense, but now David has got even more of a problem. As now he sees yet another position go away from him. Herman still leads the race as of right now. So Andy is, well, it's all very tense as of right now again. And now surely he's going to be losing time. But look at Moksha. He's definitely charging on the back of that Haas. He's on the fresher medium tyres. Let's have a look at the life. 4 laps fresher tyres to David and to Enzo around him. And then, of course, he's also got the top 4. And his tyres will go to the end. So Moksha could even be on shot for the win here. But Danger David needs to see Moksha in, well, would like to probably have Moksha in front of him, to be honest, so that he can actually drag along. We'll have 10 laps to go when we approach the start-finish straight. But chat, I think we are going to be dealt to a classic final 10 laps. We have 2 of the top 3, and I think Danger David might still find his way past yet, and have Moksha for company as well. But here we go. Andy RJ to the inside. He will take the lead of the race. Fellow Sun just holding third. McLaren at the moment will take away the constructors as Moksha does indeed get past Enzo. David needed to follow through there, so that's going to be a bit of a source of frustration. But 3.9 seconds separate the Red Bull from the top 4. All of these moves are important now. We are in the last gasp saloon. In terms of the constructors, though, at the moment, it looks like it will be, as things stand, as I'm trying to figure out words, it's going to be energetic all the way up to 8th as the penalties will begin to work themselves out. But also remember, Enzo has a penalty to serve as well. That's 6 seconds. So that might even be a nice 7th place for the McLaren. And that would be enough for the constructors indeed. So not bad stuff at all from well, from the McLaren. So and that's going to be a nice day for the British team. But at the moment, it's, well, Moksha wasn't able to get away, so yet again he finds himself in the pack, and that top 4 are just on insane pace. Let's have a look to see if the lead changes any. I know Danger David will be trying to do something here, but as of right now, Herman, well, won't look. Andy defends slightly, but Herman made no intention to overtake there, as now Enzo has had a moment. So that means Danger David is up into 5th. I don't know what happened, but we have a caution in Sector 3 for a Mercedes. That's Tark and Gino there, and it's very short-lived, however. So that means no safety car deployed, but he's on the pit limiter already. And it sounds like something has happened, and Tark and Gino not very happy with things as of right now. And that means Race Chase up into 16th there, but looks like unhappy days for the Mercedes. And that means Mercedes are out of the constructors as well. They needed Tark and Gino to have a good result here, and that's just not happened. And now it's nearly 4.9 seconds to the top 4 for the Alpine driver as well. It's just going from bad to worse, and now with, well, 8 laps to go at the line, do you find 5 seconds in 8 laps? It's gonna be heartbreak for the Alpine driver, unless if something happens. It has been an if they crash, David can be champion, but not wishing that on anybody. Let's not do that. Oh my word, it is 3 wide into turn 1, and look at Fellow Sun as well. He takes 3rd place away from Andy Andre, so Fellow Sun will take 20 points as of right now, but Herman will be driver's champion. Moksha as well, I don't think was close enough there to David, so maybe David can finally find something and get up the field. Pleasant Stake is only 1.7 seconds behind this, though, so maybe David finally has something to give here. 4.8 seconds through here. All of a sudden, this looks good, but Fellow Sun with a moment there, and Andy RJ being restricted. So at the moment, it looks like Herman could have his 2nd in a row, but at the moment, 8 laps still to give, and 4.6 seconds to separate Danger David from this battle for the top 4. But Daryl having an excellent race so far. Fellow Sun is at the moment, of course, it's in 2nd, but he needed to be for McLaren, for McLaren's sake. So at the moment, McLaren, with how things stand right now, they're going, well, it's going to be 7th place, because Pleasant Stake does have a penalty to serve. Where's David? Darren's crashed! David has crashed! It's over! His championship is over! He's crashed! On lap 27 out of 33, there's a change for the lead, though. Andy RJ to the inside of turn 1. And now he's lost out, and David, it's over. David will not be champion in Season 4. It is now a battle from last season between Andy and Herman, as Andy goes side by side with the McLaren driver trying to make his way up the field, and Andy to the outside of Sayat. If he can get this move done, this might be move of the championship. He does! Incredible scenes as Danger David leaves the session. An unfortunate race for the Alpine driver. But that means we have the same situation as last season, and there's 2 other drivers who are going to make this interesting. That is for certain. So Danger David retiring means that we go from 17 to 16 drivers. And well, what was a season of such promise for the Scotsman has sadly gone down in flames. But now the Alpine won't take the Constructors, and that means there's room for somebody else. And that means Williams will take second, as well, either second or third. Remember, there's a lot to play for here as Fallon's Son to the outside in turn 1. Doesn't want to do anything, though. It is all very sensitive right now as now Flip and Enzo are now swapping positions as now Rustasiri makes a move. Oh, there's an Aston Martin and a VCOP going side by side. Oh, there's contact between them, though. And that's not very good news for the VCOP there. And his VCOP being forced wide by the McLaren of Energetic. Of course, this is not really what they would have wanted. But it doesn't matter as of right now. McLaren would still have, as Kwan is now left the session due to a disconnect. So that doesn't really affect anybody, to be honest with you. That's not big news. But Quincy there also qualified in the top 10, but sadly it's not worked out. So he now goes up into 14th place on the Red Bull of Race Chase. Kwan actually joins back in rather quickly. That was record time, if I've ever seen it. But now, a lot of racing still to be decided. But it looks like McLaren are going to be your constructors as now down the inside goes Energetic on Rustasiri. Then there's more contact. And Rustasiri will be beginning to get a little impatient there as he goes through the final few corners. As we go through Sabadell, it looks like Energetic will be in front in 9th position, but 2.3 seconds down. He also has the DRS to worry about. As now Andy RJ tried to go for the lead there, but no dice there as Enzo. Well, all of these drivers have got a penalty, remember. Now 3 wide. In the background, the Aston Martin up into 9th place. Contact between the VCOP and the Aston Martin yet again. The McLaren trying to take advantage of it. If these 3 aren't careful, they'll bring out safety car number 3. And then Danger David will rue the moment he quit this race. At the moment, they're keeping things clean as right now. Andy doesn't seem to be in a hurry, but doesn't want to be able to take a Fallon's Son. Andy is playing a very risky game, and I agree with you there. Because at the moment now, Energetic is also fighting for the constructors. Remember, he will, well, now with all this battling, they've lost out really on any sort of advantage. But remember, Pleasant Snake will serve a penalty of 63 seconds due to previous incidents in Austria back in round 6 for causing basically a domino effect, and he was penalised for every one of them. Got a penalty point for each incident, and that also came with time penalties, and all of that added up to 63 seconds. And there we go. Oh, wow. Both the VCOP and the McLaren get squirrely on the exit of Sabadell there and into Europe car. It's Energetic that will work himself out into 10th, but at the moment Kavachka has got away from all of that, so it will be the VCOP with the DRS for now. Andy as well still retaining that position, and I think that's worked itself out. So for the constructors, it's looking very good for McLaren, that's for sure. It would take a piece of drama. It would take actually Energetic 6 not finishing for McLaren to lose everything right now, but both Alpines are out. I don't know what that means. Is Moksha going to be good enough for points? So he's got 12 plus 1, 13. No, Red Bull would stay right where they are. Williams, so they would need the Williams to go wrong, and the Williams are scoring points now. So now the attention turns to Williams, but they need to outscore McLaren by 11 points. So Skid Solo needs to try and make his way up the grid, and Tarkin Gino not helping his case there in the Merc to try and get it. Not overtaking Herman, but blocking Fallon's Son risks a lot of chaos. It certainly does. But if, okay, as things stand now, if Herman and Andy take each other out, Herman is champion. And that much I know, and I think Andy is now going to try and overtake. He looks to the inside, but I think he's just trying to... In fact, there's an Aston Martin that's gone wrong there. Andy looked to the inside there. Kavachka is facing the wrong way with 4 laps to go. Rustasiri and Energetic swap positions again. Kavachka gets back underway and into the pits he goes. Aston Martin in no fight at all. They're just trying to take it easy, but now Catalunya is starting to take its victims one by one, and Moksha as well has got Enzo. Kavachka has retired from the session now, but in the pits, so that means what was 16 becomes 15, and we certainly have one heck of a fight. Skid Solo improves another position as well, so that's good points for the Williams. Actually, they would outscore the Alpines as this stands right now. So it's a good effort from from the Williams at the very least now. So all of a sudden their fortunes have turned. So that would be a total of 25 points from Andy Andre's 20 to Skid Solo's 5 as of right now. But of course, remember, with Pleasant Stake, that might even be 10th place. That could be 6 points by the end of the race, and that's 26 points. And that would pip the Alpines at the very least. But the McLarens, not very likely, to be honest. Skid Solo needs another position. And I think, and now, all of a sudden, I see, oh, Daryl now going side by side with the McLaren of Fellow Son. That's not what he would have wanted. And now Fellow Son, all of a sudden, is having chaos. We've got 2 laps to go, and Daryl is trying to fight for all he's worth here. Because now, all of a sudden, it's starting to go 10-second penalty for Fellow Son. Oh, wow. I don't think... Oh, what? Perfect for Andy. Thank you for the follow port, by the way. Very nice to see you here. Andy is now in a good position as he squirrels out of capture. Skid Solo, there's been a moment. Energetic is in the pits. And Skid Solo is in 10th, but for how long? That's only, so that's not really going to be. As Energetic is now going for the fastest lap of the race. That's what he's doing. But now, on to the final lap. We haven't given this much attention, but it's 1 lap, and now it is only a few miles to decide the championship. Herman goes defensive, and now lap 33 out of 33. Andy to the outside. He gets it done into turn 1, but Herman will have a response waiting, I imagine. He has been saving up his battery. He has now not going to have. He's not going to allow Andy to take the championship away again. There's been a moment in the background between a few drivers, but I've got to ignore it because we are seeing a championship play out here. But there's several yellow flags happening in turn 1. Andy looked like he messed Sayat up there, but he didn't. So Herman needs a good exit here. 3 tenths behind. Looks like Andy's got that under control, but he hasn't. He got the exit all wrong. So, here we go. Last DRS zone. Herman to the inside, surely? No. He's going to try and cut back on Andy, I think. And a bit of bump draft. There was a bump there from Herman. Andy now is trying to get it all under control, as is Herman. But Fellow Son to the inside. It doesn't matter, though, because I think, Andy, it's going to be a championship going to Romania. Andy will be champion of Season 4. Herman couldn't do enough. It's second again. His championship is gone again. Season 4 goes to 3 in a row. Andy Andre, what a race to the end. That was a special Grand Prix for sure. Fellow Son will finish 4th, and Energetic at the moment should finish in 10th. As of course, Energetic finishing 10th, but he doesn't benefit from the penalties. He'll only get 9th. That might not matter though, because with Fellow Son, I think 4th. That means, I think, 22 points. Yeah, McLaren are constructors, I think. And with that extra point as well for fastest lap. So that's 23 points for McLaren. Oh, in fact, actually now 9th. And of course with, 8th. So yeah, McLaren are constructors champions with 24 points now. 24 points. 24 points go the way of McLaren. And that was incredible. A lovely podium and a comeback, of course. Daryl, of course, with the podium. But the headline is that Herman loses the championship and DeAndre gets his 3rd in a row. And what a season of racing that was. But David, with frustration, just the car just did not look stable at all. And unfortunately for him, he lost out there. You could just see the car struggling with tyre temperatures. It looked like it was frozen. Or like he was on roller skating skin. But Andy Andre is champion again. 3rd in a row. Oh, thank you very much, PJ Brogan Lag Podge, aka, with a gifted sub. Who was that to? I didn't see who that was. It was to Latrodectha. Thank you very much, and thank you for subscribing with your Prime as well. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you so much, and what a race to end Season 4 on. That was a classic. Wow. And as your results go, I'll just take a screenshot of this for safekeeping. But Andy Andre, your driver's champion. Herman in second. Daryl in third. Fellowson fourth. Moksha fifth. Flip in sixth. Pleasant Snake seventh. Thruster Siri, Energetic, and Enzo rounding out your top 10. Then it's Skid Solo, Quincy, Quan, Tark and Gino, Race Chase, Kovachka, Danger David, Evor, Toby, and Tabran. And of course, your 4 DNFs were from 17th to 20th. And let me just take a screenshot of that for safekeeping. Miss you on ours and I'd leave us as league, and they just took me out. Oof, ow. This was certainly fun. I had a lot of fun here. And it was a great season and a great final race. Decided on the last lap as well. Moksha, though, had a bit of damage there, so we'll see how that all works out, if there's any investigation needed. But we are now going to talk to your champion. Wow. I need to take a breath. That's for certain. That was a truly, truly incredible race. I cannot say that enough. Herman is already in the comms box. We are just waiting for Andy, and then we'll also have Daryl in here as well. Just give me a moment. Pardon me. And now, well, we're going to go to some interviews, but I imagine there's going to be a bit of pain, especially for Herman, because again, the final round, it all goes away. We're just waiting for Daryl to make his way in. Come on. Oh. Hang on, just let Daryl know he can come in. Oh, has he already joined? Let me just type out the message. Let's see. He certainly has. Hang on a minute. There we go. Right. Well, first and foremost, we have our top 3 in the podium cooldown room. We are going to obviously start with the winner of the race and the 3rd time in a row champion of SSRL. It's Andy Andre. What a final race that was. Go through your emotions. Congratulations to you.
Yes, indeed. It was a great final race, and yeah, emotions are kind of strong at this point. Honestly, I've tried to be a bit disconnected. I didn't want to put too much pressure on myself. I tend to get a bit nervous when I'm after something. But I'm happy. I'm happy with how it went down. It was a good race, and I don't know what do you want me to take you through first.
Well, first and foremost, there was a start of the race there. David got pole by in the dying embers of what was an exciting final qualifying, which I think matched the occasion for the race. You know, what were you thinking about the start there? And then Danger David, of course, just not quite getting that right.
Yeah, regarding the qualify.
Drive open lobbies. Learn something.
Sorry about that.
Oh, yeah,
It's all right.
no worries. Uh, so regarding the qualifying, uh, I think Pichu was not a bad result considering I had a bit of tire issues. For some reason, the game kept sending me out on full wets in Q3 when I wanted inters. Don't know if it's a bug or was just pressing something wrong. But anyway, happened twice in one session. So I really had the one shot to pull the lap in, and luckily it was good enough for P2. And P2 is kind of where you want to be. P1 or P2 doesn't really matter because you're going to be exchanging DRS throughout the whole first stint. So pole is not such a big deal these days. It's really easy to overtake. And yeah, the race started out fine. Happily, the two safety cars didn't give much opportunities for mixed strategies and someone maybe trying an under or overcut. So it evened the playing field, and Yeah, it definitely gave the top guys an advantage, and it was easier to defend the first positions.
And
And regarding the
oh, go
finish, I don't know what to say really. I'm not completely thrilled. It's just a matter of who starts the final lap in second position so that he gets the DRS on the main straight. And yeah, I was the one who slowed down a bit more than Herman, so fair play to him for not making it too difficult. I mean, one of us had to go first, and he didn't hesitate too much to take that call and take that risk. So yeah, fair play to him. He drove a great season and also a great race today. I tried to pull out of his DRS on a couple of occasions, but I just didn't have the pace. So congratulations to him also.
Absolutely, and just commenting on that final lap, what was that like? Because Herman was really close to you throughout that entire stint. It wasn't really up until we got until sector 3 where there was just a bit of a cushion. Fellow Son trying to make his way down the inside. Of course, he had to serve a 10-second penalty at the end of the race due to gaining a position from cutting a corner. But as soon as, what was most of that final lap like for you? Was it really on edge?
Um, the final lap, not so much. Maybe the penultimate, where we're trying to settle the positions for the final lap. As you said, Fellowson got into the mix, and if he were to take first position, I was ready to not fight him too much on that. The goal was just to keep Herman behind, or at least have someone in front of me so I could have DRS for the final lap. And yeah, once I got past it, it wasn't too difficult really. It's really hard to overtake anywhere else, and with a bit of battery management to defend on the second DRS straight, I managed to take the win.
Well, Andy, it's been an absolute pleasure to call this season. You came in late and made it great. It was an absolute classic championship from you. What a drive in those final few rounds as well. It was special for sure. And of course, just moving things on, I just kind of want to say Herman had the lead for most of the season, but sadly, when it came down to the last race, it didn't quite come to fruition. Herman, I can't imagine how you're feeling right now.
Honestly, not too bad. I think the most enjoyable part is now that my time off has finally come. I'm gonna announce that we're taking a break from SSRL and racing, and I was waiting for 10 intense weeks of racing to come to an end. So congratulations, Andy. Well deserved once again. Enjoyed that battle throughout, and obviously, as he said, being first on the final attempt there with the only DS zone really providing overtaking opportunities. I think that was inevitable. I tried to go as close as I can towards him for turn 10, but yeah, it was very tight on the inside there, and I didn't want to risk it for both of us. And yeah, fellas and penalty stands there. Also, the Constructors World Championship gone. But yeah, one shitty race in Abu Dhabi last time out, and all things went south. But I'm honestly just glad it's over. And he is mad competitor, and he will always be, in my eyes, the greatest I've ever raced against. And I've done around 400 plus laps, league races already. So yeah, hats off to you, Andy. That was certainly again another special season, and I'm not too bothered honestly to have it end like this. Last time was a lot more heartbreaking, as you probably can remember all, but yeah, I think the fight was on, and yeah, just a couple of races where yeah, like China, Vegas, and also especially Abu Dhabi, it wasn't really going my way. But today was very comfortable in terms of pace and everything. I think without, especially first safety car before we put it onto the hards. I think I was in a much better shape, and overall the strategy was looking, I think, a bit more on our side with me being behind, and there was a lot of work going into how to set up an overcut, especially here with tire warm up. So bit gutted that didn't came to my advantage. But in the end, just there were two moments where I needed to push, especially when Fellows and Andy started to fight, and that maybe cost me a lot of my ES management at the end there. But honestly, it's just impossible for such a long time to burst out of the ERS there on the final attempt there, lap 33, to stay ahead. And as I said, there was not really an opportunity into turn 10 as well. Then Fellison also snuck through. So
Hmm.
honestly, I'm just glad it's done. I enjoyed this season a lot. It was mentally challenging, but I just overall need a break, total break from league racing. Gonna
Mhm.
be enjoying commentary throughout the next year probably, and then maybe come back in a later part of the year, maybe in a couple of seasons time. But honestly, just right now, I think this competition, especially with a third guy involved, is just a bit tough on my mental right now. Also some personal
Mhm.
stuff. So although it was my cooldown point every time I could race and focus on something that was not my real life. I was happy to go racing with these guys, but there's been one tall mountain to climb, especially over a very heartbreaking finale last time out. But I'm just happy. It went all down smoothly, no collisions, no incidences between us three at the start as well. So just GG's to David as well. And to Annie, of course.
Mm. And obviously, like, no, obviously, thank you for announcing, like, that you're taking a break from racing and, like, waiting till you're on the podium to do that. And of course, thank you for just being open and honest. Like, it's like, we totally respect that, and we honestly do hope to see you back. I'm gonna save the questions now, but I just want to say, Andy and Herman, thank you for giving us 2 seasons of a classic championship. I've absolutely enjoyed commentating on these 2 seasons. And Herman, I just hope we see you back sooner rather than later. And enjoy your commentating career, Bath. It would be. I'm
Thank you.
very excited for you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Andy, congratulations on being champion and congratulations on winning the race. Herman, congratulations on second place. But ultimately, we're a bit sad that the championship didn't go your way. But, Andy, what a drive that was. And Herman, what a drive that was. Throughout the entire season, both of you, thank you so much.
Yeah, certainly. Thank you.
All right, but of course, last but not least, Daryl there coming in with a podium 3rd place. Daryl, that was an excellent qualifying, even if it was only 7th place. But you did get a good race in. How did that all go from your perspective?
Thank you. Yeah, it went really well. It's just a shame in the last qualifying, I decided to stay on the wets. I saw Andy go into the pits, but I didn't change the tires because I was always getting really good 5/10 off, 2/10, and I thought, I might get pole here. But then, I kind of realised I messed up.
But then in the race, you were fighting with David for the longest time. Then he sadly made a mistake, and then he sadly fully backed out from the race. That meant you had a front row seat to watching these two battle out for 1st place and the overall Drivers' Championship. How was that, just from your point of view, watching that over the 33 laps?
Absolutely amazing. They made it look very, very easy. I was literally pushing every lap, and very, very difficult.
And in terms of your race throughout there, I mean, you had 2 drivers. It was a tale of 2 stints for you. You had Danger David in the first stint, and then you had Fellowson, who, of course, fell victim to a 10-second penalty for cutting a corner and, of course, getting position on you. Can you just talk about how those battles were from your point of view?
The Andy one was okay, but then he pitted, obviously. But Fellowson just tried to keep into the 1 second, and then just made the move then.
Short and sweet, that's how I like it.
Yeah, short and sweet.
In terms of next season, though, you have been gaining pace up, but you've been unhappy with your qualifying, especially going from those mediums to the softs very recently. The pace has started to kind of drop off a little bit. So for next season, do you think you can improve on that and potentially go for the championship in season 5 if you come back?
Of course, if I fix the qualifying, I could easily fight for the title. But it's just getting my brain to work the softs. I keep working the mediums too good. Then when I go on the softs like I did in Q1, I can't improve.
It'll be very interesting to see that. Those were fighting words from a certain Scotsman last season out, so we'll look forward to hopefully seeing you fighting it with Andy Andre and hopefully David yet again. Let's hope for that as well. Daryl, congratulations on the third, and congratulations on a great race. We'll hopefully see you next season.
Cheers, thank you.
You're welcome. And, well, Quincy, I did just want to have a quick chat with you because I imagine you've got things you want to say on the end of what was a brilliant season.
No, just thank you, Dave, for the comms. I hear your voice is getting a little bit hoarse, so I see you're looking forward to a couple of weeks break as well. We will be resuming on the 7th of January on the Tuesday for what will be known as SSRL Division 1, because we'll be having 2 divisions going forward.
Brilliant. And could you just announce who the Constructors' Champion is if you've had a chance?
Yeah, I could. Yes, I could.
Because I'm thinking it's McLaren, but I could be wrong.
Give me 1 second.
Sure. I'll just read this announcement that Herman's just put out. Obviously, he's just announced in the podium that he will be stepping down from a full-time driver role. He just says he feels the need for a longer break from rig racing, especially after the 2 hard-fought seasons we have just seen. Andy is a mad competitor. I'll give you that one for free. It has been a pleasure fighting with and against you on track. Always enjoyed that since you joined. I'd like to thank my practice partner Fabius, friend of mine, who gifted me a lot of time to practice with me. Big thank you to Snake for Season 1 and Season 2, even if we missed a chance to repeat our success. John, last season was just insanely funny with you, loved our team spirit and the races alongside you. Thank you, Gino, for this season. Het was caught good. Special thanks to David for our fights as well. Thank you, Dave, for commentating on 2 epic seasons with a grand showdown at the end. Always a pleasure to talk to you and watch the races back. And of course, Quincy, what a league you have created. Thank you very much for making this my league racing home for the past year. I will be continuing commentary for the 2nd division on Monday, known as NSA. Support Quincy with admin work and look for other ways to stick around here. Nothing but respect for all of you legends. Have a nice Christmas and a good start to 2025, Herman. So there you go. And that is an official statement from Herman. Quincy, do you have an announcement for the podcast?
Yes, so
Go for it.
Little drum roll there. McLaren, 208 points. Mercedes just behind by 3 points with 205. And the Williams team, 204. So a very, 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 very tight season.
You might just want to repeat that. I just missed it because we have a raid of 105 just come in.
Oh, wow.
Infratic.
Oh,
Thank
my
you very
God.
much for the raid, Infratic.
Infratic. Oh, my goodness. So McLaren, winner of the Constructors with 208 points. 205 points is in 2nd place with Mercedes, and P3, 204 points, Williams Racing.
All right, I will watch that back because I haven't quite processed that information myself, but you know your Constructors' Championship from here. We have now concluded what was a very exciting round 10, a shortened season. We will be back in 2 weeks on the 7th of January, but that is all from us for tonight. So, Quincy, any final words from you?
No, just thank you, and hope to see you very soon, Dave.
I hope to see you very soon as well. Yeah, that was excellent. I would say I'll leave this to the 2 championship contenders as well. Andy, any words as well from you, the champion?
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't prepare a speech like Herman did. I didn't want to put too much pressure on myself. I just tried to stay cool. It was a big event today, but on the fly, all I can say is a big thank you to all of you, to yourself, Quincy, and to the others who took part. I'll just mention Herman and David in championship order, and which I had the greatest battles with. So again, really big thanks, and hope to keep in touch on and or off the track.
Thank you very much. Alrighty, I'm gonna sign it off from here, unless if anybody else wants to say anything. But I think we'll keep.
No,
this
you're good, mate. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye bye. All right, and from everybody here at SSRL, it is time to say goodbye to Season 4 and goodbye to 2024 from all of us. It has been an absolute pleasure to bring you 2 seasons of Hard Fought Racing, and of course, we will be back for Season 5, which will be on the 7th of January in 2025. Thank you to all of you who've watched. Thank you to the raid as well of Infratic for 105. Let's go. I think we should spread this love a little bit and go to somebody else who is also commentating on F124 and probably doing a league race of their own. Let's just have a quick look and see who we can raid. Let's give it to somebody who might be low on viewers. Let's give somebody a little push, shall we? Let's have a look. But thank you, Infratic, for the raid. As well. Let's give you a shout out as well, just to make sure. And Infratic, there you go. And they were, of course, playing F124. Infratic, thank you very much. A Ferrari HP esports driver. Oh my word. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Anyway, right. We have got, yeah, you know what? RWL Monaco, round 29 out of, well, round 29. Round 9 out of 25 there. Let's go and give them a raid and pass on the love. But anyway, from all of us here, thank you all so much for watching again. And from wherever you may be in the world, it's been an absolute pleasure to host you. See you in 2 weeks' time. Have a good one. Bye for now.